Treherne.
If it was suicide.
Treherne was seen leaving the building round about the time it must have happened. Now, assume he found Stratton's body.
Well, he's a detective. The scratches on Stratton's chest would indicate him as the killer of Mrs. Hassett, if Treherne hadn't already worked that out for himself.
Which wouldn't have been difficult.
No, Stratton made a lousy job of covering his tracks.
So why is Treherne still on the run?
Where are you going to hide?
There's a cave under Munro Point. Tunnel inside leads up into the village pub. It's an old smuggler's run. The chap who runs the pub's an ex-army type. I served with him in Cyprus.
Trustworthy?
Not really. Just looks the type, something out of the long-range desert group. Underneath the regimental colours, a mass of confusion.
Just the man to have with you on the run.
All right, you know how to handle natives. Tell me you were going.
I'm being laid off, then.
That's not that. I'd just be happier in my mind if you were somewhere else.
That, too, could be taken in two ways. I hope you handle the natives better than you do women.
Hey, wait a minute. Can I have your gun?
I thought you didn't use them.
Well, I may have to live off the land for a while. I'll let you have it back.
Don't bother.
Hello, Johnny! Long time no see.
You got a few minutes, sir?
But of course. Slip up the old catch, will you? New cop in the village. Still regimental about drinking after hours. What happened to the old loaf?
Got in the way of a farm truck.
Bad show. In line of duty?
Yeah, protection racket in Sidwell.
You must be joking. Organised crime in Dozeville?
No, the first cracks are beginning to show. One of the racket's brass just had his brains blown out, and according to the latest forecast, I'm next on the list, so I have to take to the hills. Tunnel still in working order?
Pull the chain.
Yeah, close it this way?
That's right, yes.
For you lay on the logistics, I'll move in.
Well, in normal circumstances, Johnny, I'd say press on. But the fact is, I'm running this place on my own at the moment. Damn barmaid walked out on me last
Nothing
week.
for you to do, sire. The idea is a hole up in Munro Cave. You can fix me up with a couple of blankets, a bit of grub, the odd bottle, which I'll pay, of course.
Other wing?
Thanks. And this is strictly between ourselves, sire.
Not a more security-conscious chap in the whole country than old Cy Endicott. Learned that in Cyprus, didn't we? The hard way.
I don't get this, Mr. Spain. If it goes your stomach with bloody mindedness, why drink the stuff?
Then I'll explain it to you, Probert. It's part of what my landlady calls one's fallacy of life, the Spain version of the divine discontent. Keeps me home to that fine age of hostility at which a man operates at his best.
There must be an easier way of doing it.
Yes? Do we know a Major Endicott?
I don't think so.
What's he want? Right, send him in. Come and sit down, Major. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I understand that you're investigating the murder of Mrs. Hassett.
Yeah?
And that Johnny Treherne is wanted for questioning.
Do you know where he is?
Well, I'm in rather a dodgy situation here, Mr. Spain.
Is Treherne a friend of yours?
Well, we were brother officers. I mean, one has a certain loyalty.
Informing on him goes against the code, you mean?
I'm afraid I don't see it quite like that.
Well, how do you see it?
Well, Johnny has put me in what I call an invidious position. I've invested everything I've got in that pub.
Which pub?
Smuggler's Roost, Stoke Morley.
You're the proprietor?
Yes, and it represents 15 years of my life. I converted my pension to buy it.
Major, I don't see yet what this has to do with Treherne.
Well, when he put the scheme to me, I mean, what could I say? He knew I couldn't refuse him. He was taking advantage of what one calls one's esprit de corps, wasn't he? He knew jolly well I couldn't say no.
No to what?
To his hiding in Munro Cave.
Where's that?
Whitewater Bay.
Mm-hmm. Your property too?
No, but the tunnel leading out of it comes up into my bar.
Uh-huh. So what's your problem?
Well, it's a fine point, I dare say, but it could be said that I'm harbouring a fugitive, even though he isn't actually harbouring himself on my premises.
No, I understand. Well, thank you for letting us know.
I can leave it in your hands, then?
Certainly, that's what we're here for, Major.
Oh, by the way, I'd appreciate it if you could arrange it so that he doesn't know who put you in the picture. I mean, any time you're over our way, Mr. Spain, there'll be a noggin waiting on the house, of course.
You can find your way out, can't you? Right of the regiment. Like somebody got a Kipling, wouldn't it?
Just the job. Once slept out in this in the Cairn Gorms, in winter, too.
Thanks.
Got everything you need?
Sure. And thanks very much, sir. Night.
Sleep tight.
I'll join you, if you can spare it.
I was wondering when you'd show up.
Thanks. You're not surprised, then?
Not in the least.
You knew the galloping major was going to grass on you, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd you sized up wrong. You're not the spent force after all.
Another drink?
Alex.
Then I'm going to get some sleep.
I talked to Inspector Scott. He's not as badly injured as they first thought. Not interested?
No.
I thought you and Scott hit it off well.
I never hit it off with people who hire me and don't pay.
I told him you were here.
You're a marvellous pair of conversationalists, aren't you?
He doesn't think I have any reason for arresting you.
You can arrest me. You don't mind getting a writ.
Buttoned itself up neatly for you, didn't it? Stratton can't get the horror out of his mind. Does himself in, thus revealing himself as the killer of poor young Mrs. Hassett.
You got a different text?
There's a hole in that one you could drive an excavator through. For a start, Stratton didn't have a conscience.
I put those dirty gay scratches on his chest. I put a bullet in his head. I arranged it all to look like suicide.
It's not beyond the bounds of possibility.
Did you come here to say anything?
Scott's honest. You'll get paid.
Yeah? Well, give us a cigarette on account then.
You quite comfortable?
Fine, thanks.
Wouldn't like me to order you a mermaid.
I've already indented for one. You were going to tell me something?
Right, Scott's idea, really.
Scott has an idea.
He thinks you're holed up here to try and lure the man behind the protection racket out into the open. It's a stupid idea, if that's what you are doing. All right, suppose he does come for you. Think he'll be on his own? Of course he won't. So what are you going to do? Overpower a gang of desperate thugs and tow him in on the end of a rope? I'll be your aid.
If it's such a stupid idea, what are you doing here?
Part of my job to prevent people getting killed. If your life's in danger, I have to try and protect it.
I bet that was Scott's idea.
Means I've had to detail 5 men I can ill afford.
Johnny,
What are you doing here?
it's been 3 days. I couldn't take the suspense any longer.
What's in there?
Oh, personal effects, toothbrush, sweater, and a rather sexy nightie.
Uh-huh.
That bacon smells good.
How'd you get here?
By car as far as Stoke Morley, then on foot. I thought the car would attract attention if I parked it on the point.
What makes you think you didn't?
Because there aren't many people about at this hour. Besides, I look like a hiker, don't I?
You see the tent in the field?
Yes, 2 men, tourists.
You noticed the fishing boat, too?
Mm-hmm.
More tourists? A policeman, Verity.
Well, how long have they been there?
3 days.
Well, why haven't they arrested you?
You do this. Oh, there's another up in the bar, posing as a barman.
But does your old army chum know who he is?
He does.
Not as good at handling the natives as you thought, then.
On the contrary.
Am I thick or something?
Something, yeah. Thick, no.
Look, what's going on? Policemen sitting about like cats on tiles. Why? What are they waiting for?
For the man who runs the whole thing. That bacon's burning.
Oh. Do you know who he is, the man who runs the racket?
Yes.
Well, why don't you tell the police, and then they can go and get him?
That's not a bad idea.
Then why not do it?
Because such proof as I have is pretty brittle. His expensive legal talent would just have to breathe on it. That's if I got it as far as a trial. No, the idea is to catch him in flagrante delicto, when he comes here to polish me off.
Does he know you're here?
Oh, yes, he does.
Why hasn't he been before?
Because he knows the police are here, too.
Well, that's stalemate. It could go on for months.
Oh, no. He'll move long before that. You see, Spain doesn't got much on this plan. He'll pull those men out the moment he has a good reason.
And does the big crook know this too?
He knows everything. That's why he's been in business for so long.
Time, if you please.
I'll get it, Major.
I'm sorry, but I really must ask you to drink up.
Huh? The Hussey Bird's moved in with him. Why not, wouldn't you?
Message from Inspector Spain. If you want our protection, you go to Sidwell.
Why?
Well, there's been a breakout from Dartmoor and needs all the men he can get.
I'll refrain from making the obvious comment on that.
Do you want to lift with us in the fishing boat?
Now we got transport.
All right, would you call in at the police station when you get there? We're going right away.
That solves one problem. Whether we both fit into that sleeping bag.
Pity.
Well, it could be safer if we didn't leave until 9. Another thing, Cy Endicott's got a bottle of wine on ice for me. Help while away the time, wouldn't it?
I'll go and get it.
No, it's pretty clammy up there.
Oh, let me do something for you, please. Just for once.
Okay. Only you'll need this.
Sorry I kept you waiting.
So long as you can.
Still, I imagine your wait wasn't entirely boring.
Not in the least.
Let's talk then.
It's all right.
You should have accepted that job I offered you, Johnny. It's the softest touch you're ever likely to get. The whole project's nothing but a dream. No one believes we'll really have a film festival in Sidwell. No one really wants one. So you get $5,000 a year at being the director with nothing to direct. Like to reconsider it?
You know, Tancred, that's where you made your big mistake. You made the bribe too high.
Bribe?
Even to such a myopic private eye as me, that made you the boss man of the protection racket. And the park fitted you much better than it did Stratton, who appeared to be running it. I mean, he's just a piece of small change. He couldn't even run a racket to steal school milk, but you've got the lot, haven't you? And the cover. Respected businessman, pillar of the community.
Never mind the compliments, let's talk business. I want you to reconsider my offer.
It's still open.
So it's a bribe, corruption. But you're a man who likes the good things of life, and you're not one of the world's workers. Look at it this way. These people that I prey on, these are decent, hard-working people. They're operators of fixed roulette wheels, dubbed greyhounds, and sleazy strip joints where tourists get fleeced. And another thing. If I hadn't moved in on them, we'd have had a bunch of hard-faced thugs from London doing it.
You're making a contribution to the local economy.
Well, you look at it like that. I'm sure you can overcome your scruples.
The promotion prospects. Any chance of my working my way up to where Stratton was?
Every chance.
With a premature retirement to the mortuary?
Stratton was a sex killer, Johnny.
Ah, I see. You were making yet another contribution to the local effort by having him killed,
Look, why don't we talk about this at sea? It's much more comfortable. And Miss Verity can entertain us. She can be very entertaining when she puts her mind to it, as I'm sure you found out after you.
The idea being I have an accident at sea. You know, like father, like son.
You're on a beating to nothing. You have no proof.
I think you're wrong about that, Mr. Tancred. I'm in to take it over your boat and the dinghy.
Well, now, if you think what you've just overheard is reliable evidence...
I think we can dig up quite a lot to support it, sir. Now it's my duty to warn you.
You won't make this stick, you know.
We'll do our best. After you.
You don't think I'd leave live cartridges in that with you around, do you?
He was the only man that was ever kind to me, and you made me trick him.
Get your things together.
You and Tancred made the same mistake, taking me for a complete dead brain. All right, so I am a dead brain in some ways. As far as women are concerned, I always pick the vipers. Never miss every time. Look, it was standing there in foot-high letters. Even to me, that someone was feeding back everything I did to Tancred, and that someone had to be you. Well, I don't think you get out of this with a whole skin. Conspiracy, aiding and abetting grievous bodily harm, attempted murder. You can throw something really beautiful at you, and I'm going to see that they do it. Don't expect me to save your soft white hide, will you?
Well, what are we waiting for? They can stick me in a rat-infested dungeon and torture me with thumb screws. It will be a pleasure just to get away from you.
Yes, I realise that. Yes. Well, obviously we oppose bail. I don't know, what do you think? Well, if we've got to do it like that, yes. Yes, it could be arranged. Look, could we talk about this later? I've got somebody with me. Right. What's this thing? I see. No stomach for the job, that it? You want us to bring her in? You don't? All right, now we need you to pin anything on her. You're not going to play, is that it? Is that why you didn't bring her in last night? Now, what do you get out of this? Where does it leave you? Look, she belonged to Tancred. She was his. When she worked in that lousy club, she was for sale, and he bought her. You get it? He bought her. You want to protect a woman like that? You want to save her from what's coming to her? Because of that little bird, Johnny, your friend Creech wound up in hospital. And Inspector Scott. You got carved, chloroformed, and your head busted. All right, then let's take a look into the future. It's quite bright for once. In fact, very bright. At last, you've got the chance to climb right out of the big end. Once it gets out that you broke up this protection racket practically single-handed, you'll be able to write your own ticket. You'll be so cluttered up with paying clients, you won't be able to move. But if you're going to make it tough for me over this girl, Johnny, which you can do, then I am going to return the favor. Push me, you get struck off the register, then you're cut right off from the big, bright future. Ah, you've got the missionary spirit, General Booth, one-man refuge for fallen women. What do you make of it?
It lost me some way back, sir.
This, Probert, is what happens when you get a romantic on your hands. It's not difficult to work out. This man can't bear mediocrity, monotony. He can't bear to be like everybody else, quietly failing, quietly going down the drain. Now, he has to be something big and overblown, drenched in color like a kid's painting. He can't just find himself another woman and get married and go off and be quietly miserable. Oh, no. He has to make a great big splurge. He has to get himself hooked on Lady Macbeth. Already romantic. Well, you can bet Macbeth had a few dodgy moments when the light went out in that bedchamber of his. Thought of that, have you? Get up. People like you, get out.
You want him watched, sir?
No.
Wonder how it feels to get hooked on a woman like that. Well, at least he knows he's alive.
Probert, this is a police station, not the theatre of Crowdy.
Yes, sir.
So go and brew some of that blasted tea.
Yes, sir.